Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Sci-Fi Sunday on this channel where we talk about all things sci-fi and fantasy. And today we have to talk about the Brightburn movie and the rumors that persist that it's getting a sequel. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so why are we talking about Brightburn when the movie came out all the way back in 2019? Well, ever since this movie came out, rumors have sort of been around that it would probably get a sequel. It was very popular at the time. However, fast forward to when James Gunn began writing Superman. Now, all of a sudden, James Gunn being the head of the DC over at Warner Brothers just added to the fuel that this movie could get a sequel. Now we're going to kind of break down why this rumor exists and whether or not it's actually true and what James Gunn says about it. So here's the thing. It is actually important because of the evil Superman. That's why it's come back into the news. It was a thing all the way back in September, and then it disappeared. James Gunn kind of said it wasn't happening, and it disappeared. Then the rumor comes out that an evil Superman is involved in the next movie. Now, this sparks this rumor all over again that this movie could get a sequel because the movie started off its life as a what-if type of scenario. The concept of the movie is that this little kid crash lands on Earth as a baby and is raised by his parents. Only his life doesn't go the way Superman's goes. Instead, his life is very dark and tragic. He is bullied at school. He's not having a good time. And then all of a sudden, he figures out he has powers. Now, he can use these powers for the good of humanity, or he could use it to basically destroy all of his enemies. And, well, he kind of goes for the latter. It is a superhero horror movie at the heart of it. And it does very good at what it does. And it was so popular that people assumed that we would probably have a sequel. Only the sequel never actually came. And then you flash forward to now, where we have this evil Superman emerging into the DCU, potentially, because James Gunn hasn't confirmed this or denied this. He's only said that the main villain of Superman is Lex Luthor. So whether or not he throws a Superman clone in there or whatever is besides the point. But it did bring up this movie again. And the craziest rumor about this movie is that it is going to be done completely by AI. That it's going to be completely written by AI. Now, I don't know why that started or why that's a thing. However, it is. That's the rumor, that the movie will be completely written by AI. And, you know, it's crazy enough when you think about it. But then you add that to it, and it becomes newsworthy, and everybody's running with it. Well, James Gunn took to social media once again on Threads, and he kind of said what was going on with this film. And that's the part that is important here. That's the part that's going to tell you whether or not there's any truth to this movie once you hear it from James Gunn. And here's the sad thing. This movie is probably never going to happen. And there's more to the story than meets the eye. Because it's not like James Gunn and his brothers who actually wrote this movie didn't want to do a sequel. Apparently, they did. They thought about doing a sequel in the past. However, things just didn't go that way. So what exactly went wrong here? Why can't they do a sequel? I mean, we know why it's coming up now because of this whole evil Superman. And the premise of this movie being kind of just that. But what about the reason why there was never a sequel? If everybody involved wanted it, why did this never happen? This has been a question that was sort of on the minds of a lot of fans. And recently, someone was inquiring to James Gunn about why this never happened. And James Gunn said, I mean, we've talked about it clearly early on, but the rights are all messed up. I only own half, so it's unlikely it will ever happen. This was the post he put on Threads, that he only owns half the rights to this movie. So in order for it to actually be a sequel, he would have to purchase these rights, and he just really can't right now. So he said of this potential sequel, no plans at all for this right now. However, this movie had enough popularity, it had enough of a following, that I'm sure eventually down the line we will get to see a sequel to this. But here are my promises. It's only going to come to fruition when James Gunn and his brothers can actually purchase the other half of the rights. They have to own the rights entirely for this to happen. And it's only going to come to fruition once they can figure out how to do this story and have a sequel to it. It's not going to just be an overnight thing. It's not going to be an AI written thing. And that's the only way I ever want this movie to get a sequel, if I'm being honest. The movie had a great premise. The movie was wonderful, and I see why people run with it every chance they can get, saying that this movie's going to come back, that it's going to have a sequel. The rights to it are not owned by James Gunn and his family. If they were, it would have been a completely different story. Now, that being said, when this is taken and put in the context of, well, why not? Because he's writing an evil Superman into Superman, isn't this kind of the same thing? And that's why you're seeing it in the news. But there's no one I trust more to give me an evil Superman than James Gunn and his brothers, because they did such a good job with Brightburn that if they do have an evil Superman in there, I'm going to be really excited to see it, because that's just going to be really cool. I don't know that this actually will happen with the whole evil Superman in the new movie, because like I said earlier, James Gunn hasn't confirmed it or denied it. And maybe that is the reason he's putting an evil Superman in here. Maybe there is something to that they want to kind of bring this evil Superman into the story to kind of make up for not having Brightburn ever get a sequel. Until we actually hear it confirmed by James Gunn that there is in fact a sequel, I'm just going to take every bit of news I'm hearing with a grain of salt. But I felt as though we needed to talk about this. I felt we needed to address this rumor because it keeps popping up. And every time you think that he's denied it enough, it just keeps coming up over and over and over again. And it all has to do, like I said, with him becoming the head of DC over at Warner Brothers. People just want to bring up this movie constantly, and I don't blame them. It is a great movie. But it is not happening, and that's kind of the reason why. Maybe eventually we will get this movie, and I hope we do. As always, we definitely want to know what you guys think, so make sure you're leaving us a comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Make sure you're sharing this video with all of your friends, because they're definitely going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.